Hello friends, and welcome once again to Paul's Pictures. Today I thought I would make a very quick video to make a start on what I might call a general overview of Lightroom Part 1. Now for those of you who know me will be very relieved to hear that I'm only going to speak for 5 or 6 minutes or so just to point things out, what the menus are, where they are and so on. So the first thing we'll do is we'll open Lightroom, and for today's purposes I'm just going to open it to the one that opens by default for me, which is called Paul's Pictures, believe it or not. Okay, so here is now, if you're opening Lightroom for the first time, this would be completely blank, but we can get to that in another video. The purpose of this is just to show you briefly around the interface. I'll open that too because that's always a handy thing to see. So basically this is what we get. We get basically all the information is set up here. You can obviously customize this like you can with most decent software, and I have just customized it in this way because it suits my way of working better. We have in Lightroom 5 modules. We're in the library module at the moment, and now the important thing to remember about Lightroom is that it is a catalog program. So basically what we're not looking here at the images. We're actually looking at what you might say representations of the images. A bit like if you had a catalog card system in a library, and we're looking in one of the drawers now, and in those drawers we have little thumbnails of the books in the library, along with the title and the author and that sort of thing. All the information that's that we need to know whether we want to look at that book or not. And the location, of course, we have all of that information here. So basically we are looking at a catalog system. So that's an important issue to remember later on, but don't worry about it right now. We're just having an overview. We also have the develop module, which you will have seen either in my videos or in somebody else's. This is where we do all of the processing work. As I've mentioned in other videos, I do 90% of my processing, particularly for my street photography, in Lightroom, with very little need, very rarely, to go to Photoshop. The only time I would go there really lately has been for if I needed to do any cloning, and even some of that can be done with Lightroom as well. Basically, the engine that drives the processing here is very similar to Adobe Camera Raw, which comes with Photoshop obviously, but for me it's a lot more user friendly, though all the terms are familiar, so you can swap between one and the other. We have a slideshow module, which is self-explanatory. Here we can create slideshows from collections, which we'll talk about either soon or another time. And it's basically a fairly good program, a good section of the program. Can put together. I've used it 2 or 3 times, and it's produced fairly decent slideshows. But I do prefer to actually use Movie Maker or one of the dedicated programs for producing slideshows. There's a print module here as well, which gives us all the options for setting up print, for margins, for yeah, all the normal things you would expect to see in a print setup, except that I don't know what you would do with that, but looks kind of groovy, doesn't it? I've not even looked at that before. I don't use these two at the end at all. I never have, because I don't do a lot of printing yet, but I will be, and I suppose I should look at this. So stay tuned for that, but that'll be down the track. There's page background colors, identity plate, which obviously is like a watermark, that sort of thing. So there's quite a range of options there. Now the web, that's interesting too, because here we have where we can create galleries. Now these galleries, this gallery we have Untitled, obviously, because I haven't made any galleries. This is very good for if you have your own website. You can actually create the gallery here, then put it on to the web. I'm not going to talk about this area because I have no idea about it at all, but we certainly have quite a few options here as well. We have sizing, we have all sorts of options in terms of how to view the images, and I'm not going to go into that, as I say. So we'll go back to the library now. So they're the five modules. Now along the left-hand side here we have the catalogue here. At the moment we're in this, which is all photographs. So you can see there's 19,700 and whatever photos in this catalogue. We'll explain catalogues a bit more later on. We have the folders here, which is just like any folder system. And here we have collections, and this is probably for me the guts of the whole program. This is where I can organize it. It's just basically a file and folder hierarchy like any other one, but it's very clever systems, allows you to do a lot of work with them, and basically we can go into that another time. We have options as far as the screen. I will look at these, these things up here another time as well. We can actually shut these so that we have a bigger, whoops, that was already shut, that one, bigger viewing panel, viewer screen. Oh, that's a nice picture. I've forgotten all about that one. That's a very nice one. It's not there, but anyway. Now, this can be done obviously by doing it like this, or there's a overall command, Alt Tab I think it is, that I use often just to shut things down, especially in the develop module, so I can have a good look. That gives us a little bit of a rundown to the main screen. We have along here the tools, import export, which are really handy and gives us a lot of options to what to do, where to send things, and individual settings, a lot of presets we can use for these, but that's another story altogether. Along here we can categorize things according to color. You'll see purple ones here, for example. They're ones I have listed with a stock agency. The green ones, which you might have seen earlier, they are ones that I have posted street photography mainly. And I have no idea what I'm looking at here. Oh, this is a pet cemetery that I photographed at one time for a project. Now, we can also obviously rotate images. We can actually, I'm going to explain this area to you another time. This is worth a whole video of its own. This is the viewing options, particularly for the develop mode, but also even in library. So that's it. We'll leave it at that for the moment, and perhaps we'll get a new one done in a moment, or leave it for another day. But I hope you have enjoyed part one of this general overview. Please comment. I'd really like to learn how to do this better and know what you guys need and would like to see, and perhaps we can learn from each other. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.